All right, let's call to order this April 9th meeting of the East Ascension Drainage District Number 1 Board of Commissioners. As far as roll call, we are missing Commissioner Melanson and Commissioner Arsenault. Commissioner Joseph, would you like to lead us in the invocation and the pledge?
Bow our head. Dear Lord, bless this great nation, bless this great state, bless this great parish, and bless all the councilmen on this board representing there. But most of all, bless all the armed forces of service that give us the freedom we have today. Thank you. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda item number 3, public comment period. Any additions to agenda? If you would like to comment on any item, there are red and green forms over here to my left. If you would like to, please get that turned in. Thank you very much. Item number 4, acceptance of 3/11/24 meeting minutes. Motion by Mr. Mason, second by Mr. Robert. Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none. Accepted. Item number 5, Chairman's report and announcements. I don't have any announcements. We should be good to go on that. Moving on to item number 6, general business. Item 6A, approval of proposals for culvert sizing and consulting services by Hartman Engineering, not to exceed $150,000.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mason, second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Any discussion or questions?
Well, Jared's here, so might as well let him go.
Yeah.
You should be able to bring it up if you need to.
Okay.
Yeah, Jared's really here for this. Next one, this is our standard size culvert.
Yeah,
We use
it's
our
the
Hartman.
day-to-day
standard.
operations for the new board members. I'll just run through real quick. Culvert designs, we adopted an internal design memorandum back in 2021. All cross drains are to be designed for the 100-year storm event. Since July 2021 up to today, current 138 culverts have been designed. Not all of them have been installed. We do sit with the ERA weekly meetings, bulkheads, commercial, residential developments, and site visits, and also existing residential drainage issues. For example, 12 Oaks, which is on the agenda tonight. But that sums up the day-to-day operations.
All right, I had 2 motions, we're good to go. Any objection? Hearing none, that'll carry to council. What? I'm about to say. Initial motion was Mason's, second was Hillensbeck. All right, item 6B, approval of proposal for construction plans and specifications for bidding purposes for a new steel sheet pile bulkhead along Holy Rosary Cemetery to include bidding, construction, administration, and resident inspection services with Hartman Engineering Incorporated for a not-to-exceed amount of $161,000. Mr. Marco, go ahead.
Okay. Darius, do you have the PowerPoint? Okay.
Nope.
Yep, that's it. Okay. Holy Rosary Catholic Church, the existing timber bulkhead is failing in multiple locations, as you can see. And it's in the vicinity of the cemetery. So the tieback system, it's a timber with a tieback system, and you're getting water seepage in there, and it's just tearing it up. Probably corroded, galvanized lines, and the sheet pile probably not long enough. So we were tasked to do a little due diligence study, and we developed a the construction costs based upon a geotechnical report. And so we've pinpointed a conceptual design. It's not nailed in stone, but we do have a construction cost associated with that. But we're recommending to replace the entire 700 linear feet because we're going to continue to see issues with that area. And as you can see, I mean, it encapsulates the entire cemetery. So there's some, what we call, I call them rat holes, but it's just water that just pours in it and just creates voids. And that's a little schematic of what to expect. So we're proposing a steel sheet pile, cantilevered section, so we won't have any tiebacks. So that's kind of a little schematic, and that's the construction estimate is at 1.4. We can, that's just conceptual. That's probably on the higher end. I'm thinking we can whittle that down, but that's kind of the numbers that we're looking at. 700 linear feet of steel sheet pile with a sheet pile cap.
Chair, can I add a little bit something to that, if I may?
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. So this is, and of course, Councilmember Lawson is not here. This is obviously his district. We have been working on this for years. This is not a new issue. I think that we're needing to eventually do a CEA. Obviously, this is a health and safety issue, being in a cemetery. And so we are working with the church and having discussions of them putting up a little bit of money or possibly giving us some compensation, like a boat launch for maintenance or something that we're going to receive some type of value for this, because it's going to be 1.6 million, you can imagine. And the goal is that let's fix it long-term here. Let's not do another quick wooden fence and have some other East Ascension Drainage Board have to deal with this in 10 years, 15 years. Let's fix it for 50 years, and that's the reason why it's better to go ahead and spend the money now and have the durability and longevity of the project and save millions of dollars down the road. So that's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
I do have a question, Mr. President, on just for clarification. The cemetery itself is managed by the church and not a separate commission or group. I know in some cemeteries in the parish, they're not necessarily managed by the church, they're managed by an organization. Do we know for sure if Holy Rosary is managing that cemetery?
I know Ron has been in discussion with him on several occasions.
Yes, we've actually met with the pastor, the deacon. Councilmember Lawson came on board to that meeting, and absolutely, they're at a loss of what to do. They do have a maintenance committee for the church. Yeah. But they're sort of limited in their skill sets. Obviously, this would be even something challenging for us. We would be looking to contract this out for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, they are responsible for their grounds. They own the cemetery and the church.
Yeah, so, yeah, all executive decisions have to be made through the church, not a separate commission.
And I believe we will wind up getting into those negotiations of a body of a CEA.
Got it.
I don't think Holy Rosary can do all of that on their own. They have a diocese they report to and everything. So it's going to be some discussions has to be had. But the first thing we have to do is what's the solution to the problem? And that's what this $161,000 will do. It'll get you a shovel-ready bid package. Here's the solution. Now, while that's happening in tandem, we can be negotiating and coming up with right-of-ways and donations if possible and cash discussions.
Yeah, I mean, avoidance of the failure of a structure of a cemetery is something we definitely want to avoid.
We tried to look at a Band-Aid, and the Band-Aid came up to $80,000 to $100,000. So we looked at that versus the investment of a real solution. It's kind of like it's already on its way out, so.
Understood. Commissioner Mason, you had a question?
Yeah, Jared, Ron, whomever. Do we know when the last time this was replaced or fixed?
Yep.
Or
2011, this
Oh,
board.
wow.
Yep, this board actually went in a cooperative endeavor then with the church. We've looked at changing our standards. We did it with metal culverts, things that don't last. Timber, this day and time, treated timber is not holding up. They last 10 years now. It's at its lifespan. So we're looking at products that'll last 50 to 100 years. That's what we're trying to move to.
I think that sounds like a smart investment. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to know, this is one of the reasons why we had to end up buying that lot on Beco, is because of bulkhead failure similar to this, because we don't believe that bulkhead was constructed correctly. So We talked to Jared about that. We're gonna have this one done right, and it's gonna last us the duration for which it should.
All right, Commissioner Vonadue.
I think y'all answered most of my questions, but once this is through or whatever happens here, we'll then negotiate, I guess, does the church carry some type of insurance or anything that has anything to do with the cemetery, anything that could possibly contribute to this down the road during the construction?
Certainly need to ask.
Yeah, that'd be
I don't think we've asked that
They've got to
question.
carry, I would assume, some type of insurance, so I was just curious.
We'll definitely put that into the questionnaire.
Commissioner Cole?
Yeah. My question is, how much are we gonna ask for the church to put in? Because that's my parish, and we don't have a whole lot of money over there. So,
I would think it would be very, very small in comparison to the overall cost. I mean,
Yeah.
it is our responsibility for drainage, but bulkheads are separate. You don't have bulkhead policies for this very reason.
right,
It's just, it's hard for any entity to come up with this kind of money to do it correctly.
Right.
And we can put another Band-Aid on this, and we can be back in another decade and having the same discussions over, or we can just do it the right way.
yeah,
And be
I
done.
agree with that. We need to go ahead and get that done. Right, Ron?
Yeah, another note, we only have so much money budgeted in a 2024 budget for this project. I think it's roughly 1.1, so we're gonna be short on the construction estimate there. So there's some metrics in there that we can sit at the table and discuss, because it's gonna be a relatively involved and expensive project.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's getting done. That's all.
All right, Commissioner Robert.
Jambalaya.
Yeah, Jared, I was curious as if fiberglass, if you did a fiberglass header instead of your steel.
So part of the geotechnical investigation, they proposed two recommendations. One was a vinyl sheeting with tieback system. The problem with that one was the tiebacks were basically hitting the graves.
You didn't have
Like,
enough.
it was almost 23 to 25 foot off the top of my head, but those piles would be driven right on top of the
You
graves.
couldn't do more tiebacks and come closer to the water's
No,
edge?
no, it's all based upon your slope failure.
Yeah,
But again, this was just a conceptual, we're gonna take a detailed survey and probably do a little bit more investigation, so that might still be a possibility.
because, I mean, you'd save a significant amount if you could do fiberglass. right?
Potentially, yeah,
Yeah,
the vinyl sheet.
and I mean, that's a 50-year wall too, I
Yeah.
would think.
I agree with that,
Yeah.
but, you can't use it, and especially this scenario, we physically can't fit it, so. But anyway, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The tiebacks, the
No, I
actual
get it.
posts
Yeah, we
would
don't
hit the
want to,
grave, yeah.
yeah.
All right, do we have any other questions? I'll need some motion. Motion by Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Vonadue. Any objection? Any questions? None such, carries to council.
Any more?
All right, item 6C, approval of amendment number 2 between HNTB Corporation, ADAPT, Ascension Drainage Assistance Program Team, and East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1, amended to add West Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1, Ascension Parish Government, and the Parish of Ascension as parties to the contract for an increase in the amount not to exceed $983,626, bringing the new contract total amount to $2,790,865, as per Exhibit A, attached hereto and made a part hereof. Mr. Monzo?
Good evening, members of the board. My name is John Monson. I'm with HNTB. I'm going to give you a quick update on the ADAPT program and what we have been doing under it. On the ADAPT program, the timeline, really, the master contract began in June of 2022. Essentially, we've been going like every fiscal year from June to June. It just worked out that way. It started out with about $1 million contract, which we didn't use because we bill for what the services provided. And so in year two, in 2023, we requested $807,000 thereabout. This year, we're requesting $983,000, and what that is, that program is actually picking up steam. We're getting grant money coming in. We're reviewing a lot of proposals from existing consultant engineers, some of the existing work, and I'll go over some of that right now. The services that we are providing under the ADAPT program are grant management, project controls, project management, and data management. I'm going to focus my efforts today on grant management. We've been working hand in hand with the Ascension Parish officials to identify and develop grant applications for some of the potential drainage projects that were included in the floodplain management plan. There was about 30 projects. In addition to that, some other existing projects. The grant applications that we have in the hopper right now total over $70 million for Ascension Parish. We have 4 major programs that we have been applied to. One of them is a hazard mitigation grant program, which is the Hurricane Ida allocation. There are 2 BRIC programs. There's the 2022 and the 2023 BRIC allocation. And then there's the Louisiana Watershed Initiative Round 2 pre-applications, and also the Louisiana statewide flood control applications through the OTD. Ascension Parish was recently awarded 2 LWI grant applications, and there were two other ones were approved under the statewide flood control application. Now, just want to caveat that bill has to be signed by the legislature in June 1st. So sometime in early June, you should be receiving an award letter for those projects. And what those 4 projects look like. So we have the John LeBlanc detention. That is an LWI project. It's in the Conway Basin. It's a detention pond. We have the Lower Bayou Conway Detention Project. It's also in the Bayou Conway Basin. It's about $1.9 million coming to the parish. We have the Welsh Gully Drainage Improvement Statewide Flood Control. That's in the Bayou Manchac Basin. We have about $3.8 million coming to the parish on that one. And the Middle Henderson Channel Improvement, which is in Henderson Bayou Basin, that is about $1.3 million coming to the parish for that. So all in all, there's about $7.7 million in grant funding coming to the parish for those projects. And we hope that we will get some more by the end of the year. So this is the team that's been providing and helping HNTB in the parish. We have ELOS, SJB Group, Civics, Laterre, and Emergent Method. Emergent Method has not really done much because we're not at that phase yet. We haven't involved ourselves in a lot of public outreach yet, but that time will come. And so with that, I'll take any questions if you have any.
Chair, may I comment before we do?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So this includes, as we start the process of starting to drill down on some of these projects, get them started, but right-of-way acquisition. So this involves now getting into civics, doing the legal work and part of that to acquire right-of-ways, and we'll be doing that on the Fontenot Road project as well as, others, Black Bayou and others. So now we're starting to acquire right-of-way. It requires civics to come on board, so there's some additional costs with that. And so that's factored into this number. Thank you.
Understood.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Mason. Second by Commissioner Hillingsbeck. Any questions? Any objection? Hearing none, carries. All right, item number 6D. Approval of change order number 3 for the new river tilting weir structure with Shavers Whittle Construction to add to the contract amount of $23,109.09 for a new not-to-exceed total amount of $2,284,599.18, and to add to the contract time 51 calendar days for a new date of completion of May 31st, 2024. Motion to approve by, sorry, go ahead.
What are we adding that cost for?
We have a Shaves Gold. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Mike D'Angelo with Davis Cole.
Yeah, my question was just, we have an additional cost. I was wondering what the change order was for.
Yes, this is additional cost for mostly SCADA-related items. We've been working with staff on some of the items that they want incorporated into the SCADA system for the Tilting Weir project. And most of these items is a result of working with the staff over the last couple months.
Joel, if you don't mind, it's getting into automation too, being able to control that weir from the command center or give Jade and his guys the access to get in there and create capacity upstream of the weir by automation. Right now, they're physically having to go out there. Matter of fact, the weir is operational right now. the actual manual function of it is happening. So the old weir's out, the new weir's in, and it is functioning. Jade and his folks are calibrating times of drawdown
So
and all that.
initially, we didn't plan on having remote
No, we did.
access?
The
I'm just curious
problems-
as it was a change order.
Well, the problem that we had when we did the design of the project, we really didn't have a software for automation, and now that we do, this change order brings the components of SCADA to be able to integrate into our software and bring the project online, is what this is doing.
So I guess I will redirect my question to, we just didn't compensate for the software in the original bid. is
Well,
what it is.
the parish hasn't never had the standards.
And I'm okay with that. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure that we can
That's-
see where this cost is, because if we had a bid originally for the system and it's, yeah,
Right.
that's cool.
And look, this is, the work that we're doing here now for this
No,
project.
it's very necessary. I
The Law Ridge
get it.
Levee Extension has
Yeah.
gates and components similar to the weir
And
functions.
they should all go to that main branch where
Exactly
we
the
can
same
function all of
standard.
them from
We
one.
didn't have it in hand to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
put in the bid specifications.
And
at
this
the
software
time.
clearly will be able to adapt
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
integrate with any of those systems.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I need a motion. Motion, Commissioner Robert, second, Commissioner Cullen. Any other questions? Any objection? Hearing none, item carries.
Thank you.
All right, item 6E, approval of the lowest responsive quote submitted by RLJ Construction LLC, and to authorize the parish president to enter into an applicable agreement or contract for this project to replace a failed 36-inch drainage outfall pipe within the 12 Oaks subdivision near the intersection of Minor Avenue and Manning Drive. Work includes pipe removal and/or grout, new pipe installation with bedding material, new inlet, removing and replacing existing fence, new sodding, and riprap. All work adjacent to residential structures for a total not to exceed $149,500. Mr. Robin.
So, yeah, we're working on this project in 12 Oaks. Actually, y'all may not know right now, we're working on an 18-inch just around the corner on Kenner with the same issue. So we don't know if we have a failure in pipe. We have a installation failure, engineering failure. We're gonna see that once we open the holes. But this particular 36-inch pipe is 4 foot off of home foundation. Public Works is just asking that the liability is just too huge on the parish to dig this up and take a chance of damaging a homeowner's home. So we're asking that y'all consider allowing that contractor to do this job and take that liability off the parish.
Let's see, Commissioner Robert.
Did we have any other bids on that?
So, brought my favorite finance guy for that one.
Jim Burris, Purchasing Director. I was hoping you'd ask that question.
Yes, sir.
So we went above and beyond getting, we tried to get 4 quotes. The timing for Piku Brothers and some of these other construction companies that were potential contractors, I have emails that said they just not a good time for them to bid. And we made a strong effort to get multiple bids.
And so we just had that one bid?
So what we did, Joe, we did get returned on, due to liability of the project, they refused to bid.
No, and I get that.
It's just a high liability.
Yeah, and this is.
Is there a way that we could change the scope of work or maybe provide insurance or some type of liability through the parish? Or you already did all that, I'm sure?
I don't, Joe, to be honest, I don't feel.
I mean, you talked about over
I don't
100
feel
grand for a
comfortable with
36-inch
our
culvert.
staff being that close to the foundation of a hole.
No, I'm not saying our staff doing it. I'm saying possibly check with some of the other contractors that did not want to bid it and see if we can do some type of release to where our insurance would cover it.
I'd ask for leniency on this. This has been going on for well over a year.
And I'm all about fixing it, but I'm just saying that's $100,000+ for how long is this culvert?
I'm sorry?
How long are we talking about? At 3 foot, how long?
It's approximately about an 80-foot run. Yes, 36 inches. It takes a lot of drainage off the roadway. It's a big, huge impact to this area right now.
Yeah,
Coming up on hurricane season.
they got a sinkhole.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion, but I'm just saying, I mean, that's high. Seems high, but I got you. You couldn't get anybody to bid on it.
Yes, sir.
You good?
Yeah, I did make a motion.
Yeah, Roger, I've got one more. I got one more speaker, Commissioner Vorndale.
Yeah, this is just, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a sinkhole between two houses, the size of a Volkswagen, and the guy's fence is falling in. There's several issues in this subdivision.
So they're having to do foundation work for the.
Actually, that's what I wanted to ask for clarification. This is just that run between the two houses. There is another catch basin that a guy actually had to do foundation work to his house because it's so close in the same subdivision. Did y'all look at that, or was it just this?
This one is just that particular run. We're currently assessing the others now. Like I said, we're on the 18-inch right now, and
Gotcha.
we're finding the same thing. The pipe's failing from the inside and splintering and buckling as we dig it up. So we're just kind of chasing it till we get to good pipe.
I know the
So-
house across the street from ours, he's got a sinkhole by his corner, or it's catch basin too.
Yeah, so, if you don't mind, Chair. Yeah, so this is why you see the administration so hard on developers with new subdivisions. Okay, this is the reason. These failures cost our taxpayers millions of dollars at the end of the day, as these failures happen so often. So when you see us, being strict, being quarantined, and the last board did a really good thing in changing to get off the metal pipes for those type of failures. But this is the reason, because these things, the developer's gone, and now the taxpayer has to do it, and it comes through us. So these are the reasons why we're so hard on them. Thank you.
Yeah, not only that, Joel, the longer you put this thing out, it's kind of the longer you put this thing out, the more liability the parish does have with that hole being open. There's only so much you can do with fencing and scaffolding material. So, having this one contractor do it and in a timely manner, it kills the liability for the parish as well. So that's all I got.
All right, I had a motion from Commissioner Robert, second from Commissioner Hillenbeck. Any question? Any objection? Hearing none, item carries. All right, item 6F, discussion on Moran Park Subdivision District 1 drainage and right-of-way maintenance. I'd like to open the floor for discussion. Commissioner Joseph, would you like to start?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of residents from the area, from the Moran subdivision. And just to give you a little overview, the subdivision was created in 1967, as you can see. And a lot of residents complain about the drainage for sewage in the ditches. And when I found out that we had right-of-ways issues with it, and that became a major problem for a subdivision to be in the area. I mean, existed that long, and the parish been taking care of this for numerous of years, but all of a sudden, the right-of-way is an issue. And once again, the new law says if you don't have a right-of-way, they don't have access to it. They can't put their equipment on it because of the liability for the parish. So that's why this discussion here I got with administration, and so they can propose a plan to see how we can solve this problem. But once again, I know the the residents of that area need this here done, and I know by talking from one of them, they have a property owner, Mr. Tom Miles, would give a right-of-way for his access, and but the rest of it, I don't know. So I'm gonna turn that over to the administration.
If you don't mind, Chair.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Evans.
So, yeah, as Oliver was stating, in 1967, this development was established. Didn't have a whole lot of standards in place at the time. They didn't have servitudes or right-of-ways dedicated at all on any of the lots. Each of the lots has individual sewer treatment plants discharging their home waste into the ditches, which then creates silts, and they back up, and sometimes they have plumbing issues when the silt comes up higher than their discharge pipes. As public work officials, we have to have drainage servitudes on the channels that we work with them. We can't just go on private property. Moran subdivision, unfortunately, does not currently have that. This is the plat with the instrument number on it from 1967. It's just lots, basically, with boundary limits on the plat. It didn't really have any dedications about who's responsible for what, or dedicate any servitude right away, as what we said. Might be too far away. Try to get up there. I got some other maps. So this map here represents the drainage channels in the area. If you look really closely where that black arrow's pointing at, you'll see the interior ditches within Moran Park subdivision with the directional flow arrows on them. So there are several interior drainage ditches that these folks rely upon for their day-to-day function. Since we met with Mr. Oliver in the office, the administration gave us the okay to try to go get servitude. What can we do? So what's happening with this? But what this map represents is there's 45 parcels in total that have to dedicate a servitude in order for the parish to be able to, dig out the drainage channels within the subdivision. So since a week or so back, we met with Councilman. You can see in the highlighted parcels in green, those folks were all positive about the project, seemed to be willing to dedicate servitude. The purple ones were a little bit reserved. They didn't say no, but they certainly didn't say yes either. And then blue, we weren't able to make those contacts just yet. So this is kind of a metric of how we track progression of servitude activity. We're currently in that process. So we're trying to get everybody on the same page about digging out these channels. So in short, it's in the works, but the whole community there needs to come together and give the parish necessary servitudes in order to make those channels become public to where Jade and his folks can perform maintenance on them.
Is this just a simple clean out? Excuse me?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Press your button and ask me.
sorry.
Yeah, people ahead of you, sir.
We're actually in line, so I'm gonna start with Commissioner Robert.
I wouldn't pay. I know you weren't.
A few years ago, myself and you and Jade and I believe President Quintmall maybe even came out with us a few times on these trips. If you look at the bottom of your picture, actually, I'm gonna ask you the question, Panama Canal. Point out Panama Canal on this map for me.
What's that?
On Panama Canal,
Yeah.
if you look at Panama on this map,
Mm-hmm.
I know right now we had a couple of the cuts in the spoil bank, which were allowing the water to come up. Did we ever have any resolve with that? Did we ever address any of those? I think Jarrett maybe even came out there.
Yeah, we looked at a few of those different scenarios around the Wayne Floyd area, that kind of thing.
With
but it's
that, but
not
we also, before that, in the Panama area.
in this area.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, actually in Moran, because they have a spot, one of the spots in Moran, we went and looked at it.
Yeah,
And my second question from that was, could we possibly drain into Panama in some of those places too? We had asked that question back then.
I think we're gonna get more into that with the other project to the west of this one. We're about to start
Yeah, and I
looking
know we
into a
need the
regional.
servitude, and that's all good, but I just was checking on
So-
those two.
so
issues.
that
pump
would just give
station
us-
is going next door. So
That's what I was
that-
saying.
What you see there to the west, the triangle, that is the purchase property we're looking to
The
purchase
blue.
from the Myers.
Correct.
Once we do that, that's where that pump station and gravity
So we just
system will
need to
be.
get to
And
that.
the
And all of
Moran
those gaps.
subdivision will be tied directly into that. I just wanted to note that the residents who do give us servitude first is the ones we're going to work on first. So the ones that refuse to or just delayed, we're not going to be able to work on private property. So as these residents become more amenable to giving the servitudes, those are the properties we're going to go clean
And I
out
mean, like
first.
at the bottom of the map, if you look at the two purple lots at that corner, you don't have to have servitude probably there if you can bypass, depending on the
Right.
grading of the ditch.
Right.
You know, we could probably make some of those work.
We're gonna try to work it that way. It's just, I don't feel like this is a finished product. Certainly don't take this as we're done. I think we're gonna be more successful when we have more information. So, we're gonna continue those conversations with those residents.
All right, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Mason.
So they have their individual sewer treatments and they're pumping into the drainage ditches. Is that what I'm understanding correctly? Okay. Is there maybe like a tie-in to
NWI near there or something? Okay, I didn't think so. That's why I was just hoping against hope on that. Okay, that was all I had. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Vorndale.
This is a little bit different, but is the current roads there, I mean, would this involve us, are these currently parish roads and whatnot?
No, this is off-road, so, yes, the roads.
So it would involve us taking over roads and that kind of stuff?
No, the
with
roads are-
servitude, or can we just do the drainage and?
Yeah, the roads in there are already parish roads. These
Oh, they are,
ditches
okay.
are behind the homes.
Gotcha, okay.
You know, that rear yard ditches that bring it out to the main outfalls, that's where the channels are.
Gotcha, okay. All right. All I got.
All right, Commissioner Joseph.
Yeah, so, the comment was just made by President, Parish President saying he was working with the one that already have approval on it or property
willing to
owners who
grant it,
have
yeah.
approval. So, I know I have two of them right now in desperate need of this service. And from your map, I've seen them already signed for it. So how quick we probably could give them some relief? If
Be
they-
aware that map doesn't mean that they signed. It means that we made contact with them and they're willing to entertain
Okay.
signing. So we still actually have to go get the physical servitudes executed. We don't have any right now today. We just went and talked to those folks,
All right.
got a gauge for where they are, and that map represents, we made contact with this one, he said, yes, I will. But to actually go get them the signs on another thing too.
Okay, so I would encourage the residents of Moran subdivision to all try to get on one page to make this happen as fast as possible. And if administration can continue to go out there and pursue those signatures and give me an update on it, I would greatly appreciate that.
And just be aware, when we get all these Jade's crews are the ones that's gonna have to, you know, come to the table and pull off and go in there and knock this out. It's gonna take some time and manpower to do it, but sympathize with the residents. They certainly are in a bind there, for sure.
Councilman Joe, we're willing to give you a monthly update and just put this as a recurring item so that you're updated monthly. Would that be okay at this board
I
meeting?
prefer a weekly one. I think the residents. And I just want to say, look, I just want to say, you know, I mean, this is one of the biggest things. I mean, I done got more phone calls on this already. And like I say, I hate to say it, Joe, but I inherit this. Okay? And I mean, you know, you're trying to help me out, but this here should have been done. I mean, you know. I mean, so, I mean, if you look at these pictures, this is ridiculous. And I mean, I'm just being honest with this. And that's the other thing. The health department is continuing to put sewage outfall in these ditches. You know, so, I mean, weekly, daily, or hourly, I'll be greatly appreciated, and I know the resident would be too. All right? Thank you.
I got you. Commissioner Hillsback.
Sign a card.
Is this just a simple scoop out job?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give her some, yeah,
I'll get you a card.
absolutely, come on. She don't need to. Yeah, we can just let her speak.
State your name.
Yeah, we just let her speak.
That main ditch that runs from Tom Miles straight back to the bayou, part of that ditch was drug on some of our property. So that side always had a right-of-way. And they used to come through with tractors and everything, and they would keep that ditch clean for sure. That's the main ditch that all of the other ditches run to that's behind our houses. So that side of the ditch is the right-of-way. They let it grow up. Trees done grow it up in it. Now they can't, they're gonna have to either dozer it back down or something in order to be able to clean that main ditch out, in order for when they dig the other ditches out, they can flow into that bigger ditch. So they're gonna have to do something, but part of the land over there is part of our land.
Yeah.
That's on that corner.
she is correct. I did fail to mention that. The two east and west ditches that run the whole length, they do have drainage servitudes on those. So they could potentially start digging. That's a great point, ma'am. They can start on those big ones from the Panama back to 941. And then in the meantime, be trying to get everybody in the interior to work.
Okay.
Appreciate your comment.
Thank you very much.
Todd, you're still
Oh.
hot.
So that's a starting point. Huh?
I got you some servitude.
You didn't, you either just did.
Ron, I got just a random, question. To acquire the servitudes, just for my knowledge, to acquire the servitudes, I mean, does it require surveying and all that kind of stuff? Because, for him, being kind of wanting it done yesterday.
No, the ditch
It'll kind of slow the
controls-
process down. That's why I was
The
curious.
ditch controls, but there is an exhibit showing the actual servitude on the lot attached to the document for which they signed, granting the servitude. And listen, they may have done some stuff in the past, but when our parish president next door got prosecuted for working on private land, that ended that for me, okay, because I'm not going to jail. And so we started the process of holding the line and requiring servitude to work into those areas, because I'm just not willing to go to jail to clean a ditch, so.
No, I was just for scheduling, he's on obviously, these folks are on a tight timeline. It's been overdue, and I was just curious if it had to be surveyed or anything, because that's
No,
a process.
They should be drawing those documents this week, and then hopefully getting some signatures next.
Yeah, gotcha.
And, but we'll put our work order in for the big ditch and start looking at the logistics of when the crews can get there to start cleaning that one, and then establish a regular maintenance. But once we start working the property next door and developing it for its intended purposes of being a regional detention and drainage solution to the area, then all of Moran subdivision will tie into that, and that will forever solve a lot of these issues, and then it will be over with.
Would anyone else like to speak on the topic? We're all good. Just an open discussion. We're going to close it down. Item 6G, executive session, authority to engage law firm to assist in site selection on New River Pump Station site.
Motion to enter executive session.
Motion by Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Vonadue. Got to vote.
Pull up the vote. to reconvene.
All right, I've got a motion to reconvene by Commissioner Mason, a second by Commissioner Hillingsbeck. Commissioner Alonso?
I'd like to make a motion for authority to engage the law firm to assist in the site selection for New River Pump Station site.
I have a second.
All right, I have a second. I'm sorry. An original motion from Commissioner Alonso, second from Commissioner Mason. Go to vote.
No, any questions?
Any questions, any objections? No objections, hearing none. It's good to go. That moves us to agenda item number 7, which we will not do this afternoon because it was partially given 6C. So,
Mr. President.
Just want to, just remind our residents, just to be careful, be weather aware tomorrow, all right? We're not shutting down the parish and everything else, but we are weather aware, so we'll be monitoring this as the day continues. But we want to just let our residents know that they just need to be weather aware of the situation tomorrow.
Are the pumps on?
can we, since we're here, can we give that number again in case you need emergency assistance or something like that? 911? Yeah, well.
450.
We'll be putting public releases out on social media as the event happens, and of course,
Absolutely.
when the pumps are turned on.
Absolutely. All right, Commissioner Alonso, motion to adjourn, second by motion Mason. No opposed. We are adjourned.